replay will be on YouTube. So if you guys want to check it out, send me a DM. I'll send you my YouTube channel. It's also just my name, Sean G. Stewart. So that works too. And so you're just watching me get this set up real quick here while we wait for Ronan. You guys can hear me okay? Ronan? Ronan's going to be in here in just a minute. And all of this replay will be on YouTube. So if you guys want to check it out, send me a DM. I'll send you my YouTube channel. It's also just my name, Sean G. Stewart. So that works too. And so you're just watching me get this set up real quick here while we wait for Ronan. Who's Ronan? You guys, Ronan's great. So he is personal brand expert for athletes. So he works with, specifically, he works with Bo, very popular UFC fighter that he blew up to 1 million followers. I mean, Ronan will give his introduction when he's here. Ronan specifically is, he's really experienced in the athlete space. So he works with UFC fighters, with different types of fighters, different types of athletes. He's blown up some pretty big people. I don't have as much experience as he does when it comes to this type of caliber, because we're going to be helping a UFC fighter today. And so I figured, let's bring Ronan in. He's the expert when it comes to this. So yeah, give him a follow. It's the Ronan Bell. And yeah, he works with a lot of really sick athletes. He's got some great, right here. This video kind of said it all. He's the guy behind Bo Nickel. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Bo, but he was able to help Bo grow to almost 800,000 followers now. Super cool guy. So I think we're going to learn a lot today. No problem hearing you. Awesome. Awesome. Cool. Right here. And I'm also going to have this, I'll make sure I have this live recorded as well. So let me go to OBS. That way we can take high quality notes too. You guys can see my screen okay? So here, I'll start off. We're going to have Ronan on. And I'll duplicate this one more time and I'll show you the UFC fighter that we're going to be taking a look at. His name's Philip Rowe. Actually, I think it's Philly Fresh. Yeah. So Ronan's going to help us with Philip's page here. And I think Ronan just joined now. I just heard a little ding. Ronan, are you there for us?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, brother. How are you?
Good, man. Good. Thanks for hopping on the stream. Chat, can you guys hear? Can you hear Ronan okay? Let me know. Ronan, thanks again, man. I really appreciate it. I know I was kind of sending you a couple messages in chat, like, hey, man.
Of course, dude. So, no big deal, dude. Of course, I love hopping on these. I just gave another talk earlier today, so I'm prepped.
I love it, man. I love it. You were making me think on the last time that we talked. It was so value packed. The chat loved it so much that I was like, dude, this would be great to have you back on, since we have. And for chat, I'll give the basic context. We have Philip Rowe, UFC fighter, who reached out via DM, and he said, hey, can you help me with my social media page? And I said, Philip, I'll be honest, bro. I don't know. I don't know how I can help you. I'm not an expert in this space here. And so I was like, I know someone that might be. And so we have Ronan here today. Ronan, give me 1 second. Let me actually record this for YouTube as well.
Awesome.
So hold on, and I'll send you that recording. And then let me get a quick selfie. Hold on. Nice. Cool. Sweet, man. Yeah. So hopefully Philip joins. If not, we'll have it recorded. So we'll get right into it whenever you're ready, Ronan.
Yeah.
What I was thinking today is, and I'll just kind of frame it up. You let me know. We'll be kind of flexible in our approach today. What I was thinking here is, and I'm looking at the chat. Looks like we have a little bit of a delay, but for chat, when you guys get to this part, we have Philly Fresh here. This is his. Oh, I should probably share my screen for you, Ronan. Hold on. We have Philip's Instagram page here. Basic request that he has for me via DM is just, hey, how do I grow this thing? And so we can take this any direction that you want. If you want to start off by looking at his content, I'm going to let you kind of be in the driver's seat, if that's okay, a little bit, just to see your thought process, because I know you've worked with a ton. What's up, Verde? What's up, Joyful Engagements? Thanks for joining. We also have someone in the chat asking you a question too, Ronan. He says, is Instagram and YouTube the only platforms you work with?
I mean, I think that you should prioritize those two. I think those
Okay.
are going to make one, like, make you the most money, and then two, it's going to just give you the best value per follower slash subscriber. If you want to sell something one day, selling something on TikTok, I believe is a lot harder than selling something on Instagram or YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, I always think that those two are the best to try and start out with.
Sweet. Sweet. Cool. Hopefully that answers your question, expert. And Ronan, how did I do on that framing? Do I need to give you any more context? Are you ready to jump in? Where do you want?
No. I think I'm good.
Okay.
So I've actually I think I've met Phil at RAF. And then he was at the White House card working with DC, Daniel Cormier. So I think we've talked once or twice. But overall, like I think that he's got like a great brand presence as it is. I think we just need to work on how to kind of get that out via social media. So the one thing that I would always ask, especially the UFC fighters in general, is like, when's the next fight coming up? Like, what's the next big event that you are participating in? Because that's kind of what we want to build everything around. So if we like, I don't know, Philip, when the next fight is or anything, but I definitely think that is a great piece of documentation style content that you should really capitalize on. Obviously, like black belt in jiu-jitsu, as well as like I know from past like experiences and past videos I've seen you in, like you're pretty entertaining. I think it would be really great if we could show that side of you via like some yapping style, low effort content reels. Let's just kind of like go through what you have already. Sean, if you just want to click on like a random video that performed a little bit better,
Sure.
then I think that's one of his knockouts, which is good. That's a great piece of
this
page.
This one has 900,000 views. And let me know too, Ronan, if I'm distracting you at all or whatever. Like, I know I'm sharing my screen here, and also the stream's a little delayed. So, if you
all good.
Cool. Yeah. So this one's at 900,000 views. Let's play this, and let me know. Oh, actually, hold on. I might need to share my tab so you can listen to audio here. Hold on. All right, you should be able to hear this now.
Sweet. Awesome.
You about to get punched on. That's your Brazilian brother. If it get ugly, you come in here like Herb Dean and you save him.
Yeah, I mean, this is just like classic example of doing dope shit and then getting views for it. Like
totally.
Sparring with one of the greats like Alex Poton Pereira is going to get a lot of views.
Sure.
Just based on like one, doing something super cool, two, capitalizing on like a collaboration between the two of you. So I think that's great. So as far as like documentation style content, I think you have it down. I think that posting more of your fight clips would be good. Any like jiu-jitsu matches that you have, any like highlights in general, like that can be something that you post like every week, every couple weeks. And definitely think that would do a lot better. I know that, and like we were in DC, you were training with Cormier and Jacoby, and I think that like that's another thing that you can definitely post about, just giving some more context there. Just training, giving some kind of daily, I don't want to say like daily input to your account, but some kind of flexing the creativity muscle throughout your training. Because I know, like, dude, I know you're a full-time athlete. I know that you have a lot going on. You want to be able to capitalize on things when you can. So just having somebody record some kind of iPhone clip of you training, I think that's definitely something you could do more or less frequently. I mean, main things here is just how is he posting like every day? Sean, I can't really tell based on.
Let's see. That's a good question. This one was a day ago. Let's see. This one a day ago as well. This one is 5 days ago, so he might have a gap like a couple days, but it seems like he's.
I mean, this is like
pretty consistent.
This is pretty good for an athlete.
Yeah.
Like overall, a lot of collab posts. I would like tone down on those just a little bit. I don't know if they're for sponsors or anything.
Okay.
But yeah, so I always find that collab posts actually like tank engagement. And I don't know if like that's how it's supposed to be, but just from like my observations, working with Bo, like when we collab with somebody, like typically it just crashes. How the video performs.
Is it because I've seen online, I don't know if you know or if you've tested this, I've seen online people theorize that like the collaborations, it will take almost like an average of the follower count or of the both profiles. So if you're collabing with someone that's less, maybe, and I don't know, maybe the reach is impacted based on the follower count of both profiles. I don't know if there's any merit to that. That's something I've heard.
Yeah, I don't know based on like live stats or anything, but just from like my experiences, I've seen that videos just absolutely tank when you do collabs.
It's
I've
interesting.
never seen a viral one.
And it's interesting that you say that, because when I scroll down his page, he has a video here with Larry Wheels that I don't think is a collab post. Yeah, it's just him just by himself.
Yeah.
And look at the engagement on this one, 200,000.
Yeah, 200,000 views. Like that's, I mean, that's a great video. Another example of like overall, like Phil just doing dope shit and then posting about it.
Totally.
That's like, if you're training with some of these like bigger names or just getting in like some kind of clip with them, like this is like, there's nothing crazy going on. I mean, it's Larry Wheels hitting mitts with you. Like it doesn't have to be anything crazy, but just because of the other person, the credibility that they bring, the video is going to do pretty well. So definitely, like whenever you have a chance to do that, I think taking advantage of it is a no-brainer. I know Larry Wheels is wrestling, I think in RAF soon, so I know that'll be big. So if any like potential clips there, and it doesn't have to be super, like it doesn't have to be something that you post. It doesn't have to be something that you post every. It can be it can be something you hold the post until it becomes timely. What I mean by that, like this clip of Larry Wheels, like this is a collab post, which is great.
Yeah.
If you were to do this again before like Larry does like I don't know if he's doing like a boxing match or if he was doing that RAF match, like this would again perform pretty well. Literally taking the timeliness of somebody doing a big event and then redoing it, reposting it. Great engagement, great views, turning into great followers as well. But overall, I mean, like, I think it's pretty good. I think it just lacks a little bit of direction and strategy. I think the strategy right now is just like getting up post, which is a great place to start. But being at the caliber of like athlete that he is, like definitely balancing a little bit more. It would be cool to see some educational, like, being a black belt in jiu-jitsu is awesome. Going like some and breaking down some fights, I think would be great. I would really take some inspiration from what Tim Welch is doing. Another big UFC. He's actually a coach. I talked to him for just like a second when we were out in DC, and I love his content overall. I think he does a good job of bringing everything together. In terms of count, like not huge following. He's Sean O'Malley's coach.
Sure.
He does great with his podcast clips.
Yeah.
Does great with the takedowns.
Yeah.
Does great with entertainment videos. Like a good mix.
Yeah.
You know that he probably has like a decent sized team behind him. He's probably got like a strategist as well as maybe another editor or two. But super small team, and he's able to do like, I mean, he's probably averaging 5 to 10 million views a month just on Instagram. He's got a pretty good sized YouTube channel as well. So I think like taking almost his approach to Phil's and kind of doing that balance between like being in the UFC, you have the credibility as well as being a black belt, the credibility to break down some kind of what is going on. Maybe it's in a jiu-jitsu match. Maybe it is in the fights coming up, like McGregor's fighting Holloway, posting something about that and posting a prediction based on that. A video is going to coming from somebody in the UFC, as well as coming from somebody with the expertise, as well as coming from some super timely recipe for success with the video. But yeah, I mean, I think this is a great example. You can look through a bunch of the other UFC fighters that do it right. Volk's another one that does it right.
Yep.
There's Paddy Pimblett, though, like I'm not like a huge fan of the brand. I think that he does a good job with his content and marketing. The reason I say Tim Welch is I think that he's got like the good mix between it that you could resemble. But yeah, I think just a little bit more strategy behind what you're doing would go a long way. You've obviously you've grappled against Craig Jones. Like there's things that you can take away from like clips in the past, reposting them, and I think that those videos would do super well too. It's just about, I think overall, like having a good strategy behind it and having a plan, like using Notion, using some kind of system behind this rather than just posting whenever would go leaps and bounds in terms of promoting yourself as a fighter and as a brand.
Now here's my question for you, Ronan. And what you said, I mean, that's it's starting to get my gears turning too in my head, because I'm like, oh, I didn't even think about that, where you're saying like leveraging popular UFC fighters too for his content, because he has that expertise of being in UFC. You know, it just makes for a great authority standpoint. My question for you is, and I think Philip, he might have DM'd me this at one point, is are there certain formats that he might want to cater towards more than others? Like, for example, this one seems to be him just like almost, I guess you could say, yapping right to the camera.
Yeah.
But do you have any thoughts around like types of formats that he might choose, that he might find better success with, or others? I mean, I don't know if there's I kind of believe that there's no like set formula, but you might have seen, you know, some other formats that he might find better.
Yeah, I mean, I think a balance between the yapping and like doing some green screen predictions would be huge. Doing some kind of reaction video, like a street fight reaction, I think would be a really easy format to start like cranking out.
Oh yeah.
The yapping is like good. I like it. That's just depending on the person. Like someone like Bo, not as like that's something that he would not want to do.
Right.
So that just depends person to person. But definitely like split screen breakdown could be pretty good. Having his reaction above and then the actual video below. There's a fitness creator that does it a lot, that does a really good job with it. I can't remember his name, or I would love to bring it up. But yeah, I mean, I think that right now I would just experiment like with what one you have fun doing. Like if you're like predictions aren't fun, don't do it. Like we'll move on to something else.
Okay.
But just figuring out like what would actually be something that you would want to do with the content, rather than like kind of fitting in a mold of like, you can do all of these things. Like, all of them are great. I don't think that there's like one bad one, but the best one is going to be the one that you can stay consistent with. So finding that format is probably the most valuable thing to do going forward.
That's great. I love that. I love what you said about like the most valuable format is the one you can stay consistent with. That's something that I kind of think about a lot with my content too. My next question for you about Philip is, how does he, and this was something that like, again, when he's messaging me, I'm like, dude, we got to talk to Ronan, because Ronan would have the answers to these. If Philip here, let's just say, I haven't looked at all of his content, but let's say the majority of his content is like fighting clips. How does he properly tell his story to his audience so people can get to know him? Like, do you have any maybe tips on how he can do that in a better way?
Yeah, I mean, I think that you could balance it out, like 40% doing what you do like for work, right? Okay. Like you're going to post about fighting. You're going to post about you training. You're going to post about nuances that go along with fighting. But then the other 60% is kind of like up to you. Like if you're into, like for Bo, like making steak, you know, he likes doing like some comedy videos. He likes cigars. Like there's other things that, you know, you're not just going to want to post about fighting, right? There's going to be other things that you want to end up posting about. So don't be scared to kind of break out of that mold. It's just literally about trying to figure out what is going to be the best. Like there's other videos that are timely, like dude likes Trump, we're going to post about Trump. Right. Like whatever you end up wanting to do, it's just finding a balance between that. Like the videos that did super well for us over the fight weeks were the day in the lives, where it was nothing like that crazy. Yeah. So there was, I think the one above got 1 million views, and that was a paid partnership one, which was huge. So like, this is not complicated. I think Phil's in this video, actually.
Is he?
Now that I'm like thinking about it, I think Phil is in this video. We'll give it a second. I think that he's in the lobby. I think he daps him up.
Oh yeah, that's him right there. Yeah.
Yeah. So like overall, the main things, it's like, this isn't just about Bo fighting. This is encompassing like everything he does. Like this is the day in the life. Like there's other ways to go about it. Yeah. So I think finding the actual format, the topics is not as hard, because you can kind of prioritize what you like and what you don't like. Yeah. And kind of work from there. Like you don't want to be one-sided. Like if you're just, unless you really want to go all in on being like this UFC fighter that does only UFC, like fine.
Right.
I think that the you are the niche philosophy isn't necessarily always good, but in a case like Phil's, who like you're trying to show yourself outside of fighting, that's when it can apply and showing kind of some of the other things that you might like as well, kind of going outside the box there.
Well, and I think it certainly helps that, you know, he has, same with Bo, same with all these UFC fighters, they have such an interesting life that the content's already made from their life. It is, you know, so I don't think like, and here's my question to you. I mean, obviously share to your heart's content. By no means do I want you to, you know, share or overshare anything that you're not comfortable with, but like for Philip, my assumption would be that he wouldn't have to necessarily like do a ton of research looking at topics that's working, you know what I mean? Like you just let's just film some stuff that's going on in your life, and like, you know, the content's made just from literally filming what you're doing. I'm assuming that's probably how it works with Bo. Like you just, what are you doing today?
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
that's like, I mean, that's some of it. Some of it is a little bit more calculated. It just depends.
Yeah.
Like the which haircut should I get for my fight? Like that was calculated.
Yeah.
I was like, everyone always likes talking about like when he went to Newark to do like this press conference, like everyone was commenting about like his hair. So I'm like, oh, like that's a good topic. Like going on Twitter, I realized I'm like, oh, this is a good topic. We need to have some kind of piece of content about it. And it's like, it's funny. Like it's nothing like crazy. This took maybe 10 minutes for me to edit.
Sure.
And this video almost got like 1 million views.
Yeah.
So it's about doing stuff like that too. So there are some that I can like research a topic and kind of give a little bit more into it. But there's other stuff like starting out, whatever's easiest is kind of the best thing to do.
Love it.
If it's documentation style, if you're like, if there's a big event coming, like McGregor's fighting Max Holloway, like capitalizing on, like, you don't need to research to understand that like that is going to be a big topic in the next week or so.
Of course. Very cool, man. Very cool. And the cool thing here with Bo is I mean, he's blown up on all these different formats too. Like I see you have just press interviews with UFC, day in the life with your phone. Then you have the professional footage of him in the rings. And it looks like Philip might be doing similar, where he has a whole bunch of different styles, which I think is good. Let me see, where did his page go? Ronan's dropping gems today. Yeah, I think Ronan is incapable of not dropping gems. Let's see here. I should probably just duplicate the tab. That's fine. But yeah, looks like Philip's already doing a bunch of different formats here, which is great. He has him working out. That's cool, just with the iPhone. Then he has some professional. Sweet, man. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think all of that's good. I mean, I think going back and forth, like I said, the main thing that I say to anybody around this is like the weird part. So when I started working with Bo around this follower count, I think we started at like 120 or 160. I can't remember exactly, but I always say like this is where accounts go to die, because it's like you get comfortable of like, oh, I'm just going to gain followers from when I fight and everything, but you're going to do that. But if you can also like make great pieces of content as well, it'll only help emphasize what you're doing going forward. So that was kind of like the perspective here. And I think that Philip has a great brand already. He just needs the content to be a little bit more organized in order to emphasize what his brand already is, and kind of go from there.
So I'm going to ask you, and feel free again. I mean, I know we're live, so I'm trying to think, like, trying to filter through some of my thoughts. You know, obviously, like, some things, you know, should remain between you and I. My question for you is, what should Philip be thinking, maybe like logistically, with his strategy here? Should he be looking for someone like yourself to edit some content for him? Should he be looking for someone to come up with video ideas for him? Should he be focusing on maybe getting a videographer to just film everything? Or some people call it like a shredder, you know, some guy that just like films everything. What should maybe Philip's like first approach be, would you recommend?
Yeah, I mean, I think having somebody that is like, I don't know where Philip's based off of, but I can tell you what Bo did. I mean, he found a college kid that was really hungry and wanted to make a bunch of content. So you can take that approach. You just got to be a little bit more patient. Like, I mean, I didn't learn everything that I did overnight. We made some really awful pieces of content. We're still going to make like awful pieces of content. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
But you can be patient with them and have them get a little bit better, and they'll probably work for like literally. I worked for free for I think 8 months to a year when I started working with Bo, as like an internship, and then once I got out of college, like that became my full-time job. So I mean, I think that you could do something like that. You could. There's obviously other ways to do it. You can find an editor. I think that finding I don't know how Philip's kind of I don't know his editing skills or anything. I don't know how much time he has to put in the content every week. But asking like some of those like more quality-based questions would help me determine stuff like that. On like what's the best way? Like, hey, you have you have X amount of dollars per month. Like this is what you should do with that, rather than kind of guessing. So it just really depends on. There's a lot of factors that go into it.
Sure. Very cool, man. Very cool. Well, Ronan, you've been dropping some gems. We're only 15 minutes in, man. So okay, if we can give a recap, and I could probably give a recap after this video. Step by steps. First thing that I heard you say that I thought was really good was for him to, and you keep mentioning this idea of like documentation. You know, just documenting your fights coming up, documenting your training. Seems like that's good. Seems like his training stuff is already working. In particular with his trainings, it seems like he should maybe focus on, I guess the strategy part with his training clips is either incorporating some training clips with someone who is maybe about to go into a fight, maybe someone a little bit more known like Larry Wheels, or maybe strategically placing the training clips before a big event is kind of what the first piece of advice I heard you say was. Is that a good paraphrase?
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
And just like keeping it simple. Like it doesn't need to be, you don't need to pay somebody to do like crazy, like high-end cinematic edits because like that isn't working right now.
Totally.
So you literally do it with your iPhone.
Right.
Just I think that would be like step one.
Cool. Step one. And then step two, as he starts to film a little bit more of everything that he's doing, one thing you also mentioned too is like incorporating more of his interests just because he has a lot going on in his life. So maybe having different formats of him talking about his predictions, green screen predictions of what's coming up, him talking about different UFC fighters as a UFC fighter himself, you know, I think that's a good step. When you make that suggestion, is there one in particular, maybe I can go to Bo's page or someone's page that he might be able to look at as not to, and Philip, we're not like saying to copy, but maybe for inspiration on like how he could adopt that format?
Yeah, I mean, I think Tim Welch does a good job. That's like the one that's going to come to mind. I know he's a coach. I know he's not a fighter, but I think that's one. Usman and Cejudo have a good podcast with stuff like that as well. Like I think that, yeah, I mean, I think that Tim Welch does a good job of like doing the predictions and like a classy matter.
Cool.
I don't think that there's any like, you don't want to go and like call out people or anything. But I think that doing it in just a little classy way, I think that's easy to do.
Sweet. I like it. Chat, do we have any questions at this point? I want to make sure I'm not really looking at the chat too much. Tiago, 1J, Rochelle, anyone, do we have questions for Ronan? Since Ronan's been gracious enough to give us some of his time today to help Philip, is there any questions you guys have for him in particular? 1J says, yeah, also noticing he's making 3 types of content: motivational, sparring, lifestyle, while trying to tie them to the UFC. Is that, 1J, are you talking about Philip with that comment, maybe? Or maybe looking at Tim Welch? Do you think that way, Ronan? Do you think in terms of, I mean, common topic that people talk about is like content pillars or buckets, right? Like, do you think of these types of categories with Bo or other fighters that you work with as like, we should have X amount of training videos? Okay.
I don't think it needs to be like super, like, I don't know. I don't think it needs to be super laid out now for me, but for somebody like that wants to get started, like they might need that structure. So for like Bo, when we started, it was more getting like a cadence down. Like, all right, we're gonna do steak Sunday. Like we're gonna make steak like every other Sunday. Like something to mix it up in there with the training clips, with some of the like more meme clips in there as well. So I think that it's helpful depending on the person, but I don't think it's like a strict box that you need to put yourself in at all.
Oh, I think one J might be referring to Philip. I'm seeing as I scroll through Philip's, it's motivational, lifestyle, sparring. Should Philip, and I don't want to ask too many questions because I don't want to overcomplicate it. It seems like you've given a good layout so far, Ronan. And like we were saying, it seems like a lot of the content kind of writes itself with how interesting Philip's lifestyle is. Should he be thinking about incorporating maybe more of him talking, like incorporating more of those even prediction styles just so people get to know him more? You know, I don't know what you think.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it hurts. I think it's just simply like, what does he like to do? Like, if that's something he's like, I would absolutely never do that. Like, good. That's something that we know that we don't want to do going forward.
Cool.
But I think that it's really figuring out like full-time athlete, part-time marketer. You know, it's like we got to find that balance. So whatever you can be like, oh, this is something that like I can kind of get excited for. Like, let's do it. Like, I keep going back to the example that I always have with Bo. It's like, I always go like, all right, the one thing I could get him excited for is like making a steak on camera. Like, that was something he's like, oh, dude, that's fun. I'm like, all right, great. Like, we can do that. Like, one, steak dinner for myself, but two, like, good piece of content to go out there. We actually like, and that's how we got like good, like some of the first sponsors on his account through the content. So it's a good way to emphasize the brand that way.
Very cool.
Too, just mixing stuff up. Yeah.
Very cool. Okay, let's take a moment for the chat, and then Ronan. I mean, if you have some questions for the chat, or if you have anything you want to say, feel free to. For the chat, we have 1J saying thinking motivational content could come from vulnerable. Sorry, I gotta read this first. Thinking motivational content could come from being vulnerable in the ring, maybe experiences of maybe like lessons learned from his ring experience, story. Sparring should maybe not show just how he's doing stuff, but why he does them. And lifestyle could have some storytelling. Ronan, I don't know if you understand. I know I was kind of rambling there with that comment. Do you have any thoughts on 1J in the chat, what he's saying here?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just depends on like the type of person that Philip is. Like, if that's something you would want to do, like, great. If not, like, you can keep it more lighthearted. It's really about the person at the end of the day. Like, that's something that it just really, it's person to person. Some people would want to do that. Some people wouldn't. It just depends on how transparent people want to be on the internet.
Got it. And now here's kind of a personal question that I have, could apply to Philip. I'm going to try to not ask too many Philip questions at this point. Cause I mean, Ronan, do you have any other things that you really want to mention about Philip's page at this point? I feel like you've given a really good blueprint. I don't want to overcomplicate it for him when he's watching this.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's pretty good.
Okay, I think so too. Cool. And I don't want to keep asking questions. And then Philip's like, oh my gosh, there's so many things I have to do. So now a personal question that could apply to Philip as well as everyone in the chat here. And you mentioned it too when we were talking about, and let me stop sharing my screen just so we can talk one-to-one. Even though you can't see me in the Google Meet, maybe you can see me in live. But when people say like, you are the niche, you know, and I'm seeing here, like you've done a really good job with Bo of being able to incorporate all these different interests of him. You mentioned the Steak Sundays, right? Him being known for multiple things at this point outside of just being a fighter. Like, people come to him for his interests in a variety of different domains. Do you think of incorporating, and this is someone in the chat had asked me this the other day, when you're trying to incorporate interests that someone has into their content, do you think of it as like a standalone piece of content where we're like, okay, one piece is going to be all about steak, or do you incorporate the steak into the main category? Like, you have him eating a steak while he's sparring or something, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends. So the you are the niche philosophy, the reason that I don't like it is because people think of it the wrong way. People think of it as, I'm going to talk about 5 or 10 different things and make one page about it, where rather you should start with one thing and then branch out. So, I mean, I think that with someone like Bo, it's a little bit different, right? Like, has a lot of trust already, has a decent sized following. Like, it's okay to be a little bit multi-interested. It depends on the size of the account. I think if you build a following off of, like, I think a good example is like Amazon. Like, they only did books for a really long time and then grew. So you kind of want to think about what you're going to talk about topic-wise, like building a company. You want to start with one thing and then expand rather than a bunch of things on one platform, if that makes sense.
Beautiful. Totally. Chat, how are you feeling about that? I think that's a brilliant answer because that's a question that we get a lot in these streams, and we all have our opinions, but I think the problem that I run into a lot, part of the reason when I was telling you the last time we connected, part of the reason why I created this account to just document everything is because when I'm looking at all this advice on social media, because of like how short form platforms are designed where people can just give their opinions in 60 seconds, I feel like a lot of advice to me when I'm listening to it seems like it's contradictory from what another person's saying, but really it's more of it like in addition, or maybe people are saying things in a certain sequence of events, but it's not necessarily one or the other, such as like you saying you are the niche, right? Or like you being inside a niche. I feel like people look at that as two opposing ideas when really it's more of a matter of sequence of like when do you niche down and when do you expand to multiple interests. That's just kind of how I view it. I don't know if it's true or not, but it's definitely been a problem in my life when I'm listening to stuff on social media because I'll hear one person say this, another person say this about everything. Quantity versus quality, you are the niche versus you're not the niche, stealing versus originality, like you can go down the list, unstructured versus structured. And I feel like it's almost always a matter of like, in which order do you do this and the other?
I think that the main thing is that everyone needs to understand that there is no right answer. So for some people, like I think his name is Chris Chung, he does like very super technical videos on how to make good educational content. He's got like 160,000 followers or anything, but he posts once a day. And then we have somebody like personal brand tips like Zach Rance who posts 10 times a day.
Right.
Both are very successful, just in different, but getting there in a different way.
Totally.
So I think it really depends on the person. Like I had a buddy in college. His name's Brad Kraut. He does like Twitch now, and I literally. He told me, he said, I posted 50 times today. And I said, how is that even possible? And he was like, I literally just pick up my phone, I say something, I respond to a comment, and then I press post, and I don't watch it back. I'm like, holy smokes, man. So, and that's another way to do it. I think he's got like 500,000 on TikTok.
Yeah.
So, like, it just, I don't think that there's a right or wrong answer to how to grow. It just depends on, like, what are you willing to stick to for a long enough time.
Love it. I love that.
Yeah.
That's probably the best thing that I've heard on these streams, because I 100% agree with you. That was one of the first TikTok accounts that I ever grew. Same thing. I just responded to comments and just spammed 20 posts a day in the self-improvement space. Same thing. Every video got like 200 views, but the community was pretty good, and so it just grew just by volume. So yeah, 100%, man. I love it. Love it. Tiago says, that makes sense. That was great. Yeah, guys, for everyone in here, I know we're kind of like, people are coming and going. No worries. But Ronan, I mean, you're always a pleasure for us to talk here. Oh, dude, I'm seeing that we're 5 minutes over. My apologies. I was looking,
you're good, man.
My time on my computer, I don't know if you guys can see it here, but my time on my computer, I guess, is 10 minutes behind. So my apologies, man. But
no, you're good, dude. I have no time constraint, so cool. I just got to be out of here about 5 my time. So cool. I was thinking it was gonna be longer, but all good.
Yeah. No. I'm gonna try to keep it a little bit more concise for this stream here, just for the respect to your time as well as I'm in the middle of my workday too. So, like I was saying though, man, it's always a pleasure to have you on here. The value that you provide in such a short amount of time is truly impressive. A lot to learn from you. I know that our chat will message me in different live streams asking about you at certain points. So, yeah, man, always happy to have you on here. You're always welcome. And if you have anything for the chat too, man, any questions, anything you want to say, I don't know how many people are in here right now, but
yeah. So I do have, I'm dropping a webinar next week, first ever webinar. I'm launching a new offer as well. So stay tuned for that. The webinar is going to be all about, I'm going to show you live how I come up with ideas, how to script my ideas, how I film, and then how I edit, all in the span of an hour.
Love it.
So it will give you literally everything that you need to know in order how to make your first viral piece of content. And like I think that it's what people would literally spend thousands of dollars in courses teaching.
Yes.
So I want to make sure that I'm doing it for free.
Love it.
To help you guys out. So if that's something you're interested in, I'll have more information in the coming days and a sign up link to that. It'll be completely free as well, but it should be next Thursday that'll happen.
And for anyone that's watching the replay of this too, here's Ronan's socials. So give him a follow. He'll probably have his webinar link probably in your bio, maybe, or maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be there. It'll be there at some point. I'm still building out the site and everything.
Cool.
So it'll be good once it's all done.
Cool. So yeah, everyone here, yeah, Tiago says nice, awesome, cool. So yeah, everyone here, give Ronan a follow. He's, again, awesome guest, always dropping value. And Ronan, thank you again, man. Really appreciate you being on here. Yeah, of course, dude. If you don't mind, so I'm gonna end the stream, and then I just have one thing for you, just in the Google Meet. But for everyone in the chat, thanks for joining. I know it's a little bit of a shorter stream, and thanks for joining at a unique time today. Tomorrow we'll be back to our regular scheduled program, and until next time. Oh, wait. One for 1J. Quick one for Ronan. When creating strategy, do you lean towards the individual and what they want to do, or the account size, or does the account size matter more? As I've seen account size influences. Sorry, 1J. I'm having a tough time understanding the comment here. Let me read it one more time. When creating your strategy, do you lean towards the individual and what they want to do, or does the account size matter more? I guess is maybe the question.
It just depends. Like it's person to person. If you were somebody with like 100,000 followers and you're posting like one time a month, or you're just like not in a groove, the main thing that I say for strategy is like have some kind of cadence to start. But it also depends on like how willing the person is. Like Bo's not some, like it's going to be hard for us to post every single day, right? Like he's got a wife, he's got 2 kids, you know, but there was a time where we did do that. So it really depends person to person. Don't make if you are under 100,000 followers, you should be posting every single day or more. If you can't do that, every other day, like have some kind of cadence.
Cool.
But the main thing is it's just you gotta get the post up. It just depending on where you're at is the differentiator or the differentiator in the actual strategy behind it.
Awesome. Does that make sense, 1J? Tiago, thank you for being here. Nesher, thank you for being here. Everyone else that came and went, thanks. Like I said in I don't know how many minutes ago, guys, but the replay of this live will be on YouTube. So if you guys want to watch back anything that Ronan said, I'll send you the YouTube via DMs. And I think we're good to end it now. So Ronan, quick question for you as I end this. Thanks, guys, for joining. We'll be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. All right.
Sweet. Awesome, man. Thanks for having me on. That was fun.
Yeah, dude. Always a pleasure having you. Thanks again. And thanks for, I know I was kind of putting you on the spot on some of these questions here at the live.